Hi, my name is Nina.
And I'm Nicolas.
And this is the
ImmortaliCast.
We are translators and rejuvenation enthusiasts, and this is our podcast about longevity, rejuvenation, and immortality. We make episodes in these topics in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Hello, so today we're talking to Felix Werth. He is the founder of the German Party for Health Research, which was founded in 2015. And this year there are going to be general elections in Germany, which happen every 4 years. And his party is participating in those elections. So hello, Felix, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, Nicolas. Hello, Nina. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes, of course.
Yes, Felix, the elections are on September 26th. So it's a short time, maybe 3 months of to the day of the elections. So please tell to the rejuvenation field and the public in general why this election is important for the whole rejuvenation field.
So there are several reasons why this election is so important. We can do really good advocacy just in participating in the election. So prior to the election, we can hang up election posters, we can air commercials in TV and radio for free, and the media is interested in parties that participate in the election, and and there's several other things we can do in the election campaign to spread the word and to tell people about our chance to develop medicine in the near future that will let us live a longer and healthier life, and to educate people about the repair approach. But so right now, one thing we also want to talk about, we are doing a fundraiser right now, a fundraising campaign, because a requirement to participate in the election for small parties is to collect support signatures. So right now, we are in the process of collecting those signatures. And in order to participate in more states in this federal election, we would need support because at this point, we cannot do it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because your party is a party with a single issue, right?
Right.
You defend that more money should be invested in health research, but specifically you are connected to the rejuvenation field and to the repair approach, right?
Right. So we don't cover any other issue. We don't want to become the next big party that governs the country. Our goal is to do advocacy for this and to show the big parties that they can get votes with it if they would cover this issue also more. So that we want that the big parties in Germany will include our issue into their program. And our only issue is that we demand that the government invests much more money into the research for effective medicine against the diseases of old age. So the respective faculties at the universities should be enlarged with that money, and more researchers should be educated. And also there should be more state research institutes built, and so that implement this repair approach especially.
But Felix, we read in your program that you want to spend 10% of the general budget of German in this issue. It would be 35 billion euros. So let's say you can have a say about that. inside the government. Specifically, you mentioned the institutes, but more specifically, how you could spend so much money if you have the chance?
Well, as I said, we could. So what we want to do is 50% of that money, we want to enlarge the respective faculties at the universities, and with the other 50%, we want to build and run more state research institutes where the newly educated scientists could work and work on this anti-aging therapies. And the reason why we want to invest so much money into educating scientists is because, like, in the near future, when everybody sees that this is coming and more money goes into this field and more also private investments come, then I think there will be a shortage of scientists, because then there will be a lot of money, but probably worldwide there will not be enough scientists to be in the lab and to implement all this medicine. And so we should start now to educate more people in this field. So right now, less than 1% of the federal budget is invested into this kind of research, and we want like that 10% of the federal budget is invested additionally, especially into developing of this medicine. And so it's really a lot. It's like 10 times or maybe even 100 times more, because it's really difficult to say how much is invested right now, because we would have to go institute by institute and add all the numbers. So, but it's not very much. It's like in the US, the NIH has a lot of money, but the NIA has only a small portion of it, and then only a small part of it goes into really implementing the repair approach. So almost nothing, you know. So it's the same in Germany. So and we think so 10% of the federal budget would be really a lot. But everybody, I think it's justified, or we think it's justified, because everybody would benefit from it, right? Because everybody is affected from the diseases of old age when we get old. And yeah, also the economy would benefit, because we wouldn't have to spend so much money for sick care. And yeah, so it would be a really good investment for the government.
Mm-hmm. And you said that your party was doing a fundraising and that you have to gather signatures. Could you explain a little more in detail about this? Because I think you have to have a minimal number of signatures in each state, right? So what are your goals for this election? Like how many signatures and how many votes do you aim to get?
So we have 16 states in Germany, and in order to participate in a state in the federal election, you have to have a regional association, and you have to collect a certain amount of signatures. So right now we have 14 regional associations. So in theory, we could participate in 14 states out of 16 if we manage to collect enough signatures in each state. So in each state where you collect a certain amount of signatures, you are on the ballot paper, and if you don't manage to do that, to collect those signatures, you are not on the ballot paper in that state. And for example, in the last federal election, we only managed to be on the ballot paper in 3 states of those 16 states, even though we already had 8 regional associations, and we could have participated in those 8 states, but we didn't manage to get all the signatures, because it's really time consuming to collect all the signatures. So if we would manage to be on the ballot paper in all 14 states where we have regional associations, we would be on the ballot papers of about 98% of all voters in Germany, because 98% of the people in Germany live in those 14 states, because the states where we are missing regional associations, they are the smallest states in Germany by population. So they may only make up 2%, they only have 2% of the population living there. So we would be votable almost everywhere if you would manage to, but it's really difficult.
Regarding your goals for the voting day, right in September 26th, when the general public will vote, what are your goals in terms of percentage? Because you know that in Germany there is a threshold to enter the parliament. So I think it's 5%. So please tell us the immediate goals in order we can have an idea of how feasible are those goals.
So the first goal that we would achieve in any case would be to do the advocacy, and the next goal would be that, which is not too unrealistic, is to achieve 0.5% of the votes, because then we would get funds from the state. So if you get, as a small party, if you get 0.5% of the votes in the federal election, you get funding from the state, from the government, and we could use that money to do more advocacy and to enlarge our party. And so the reason why this is realistic is because in 3 state elections that we participated, we already got 0.5% of the votes. So that would be a realistic result if we would be on the ballot papers of, for example, 98% of the voters. Because if we, for example, only would manage to be on the ballot, if we would not manage to be on the ballot papers in all 14 states, and maybe only on the ballot papers of 50% of the voters, we would need 1% of the votes of the people who can vote for us, because half of the people in Germany cannot even vote for us. So we would need a higher percentage of votes from the people who are able to vote for us. So and 1% is much less realistic than 0.5 to get 0.5%. So that's one reason why it's so important to participate in more states in this election. And then, of course, if we would get 5% of the votes, we would get into parliament. But that's kind of unrealistic, we know from experience, because as I said, the best results we got, we already participated in 11 elections in Germany since we were founded. And yeah, so the best results were 0.5% of the votes, but we are still very unknown. So there's a big potential. And we think that if we get more and more known, and it would be very likely that we would get much more votes. But this time it's probably not very likely that we get 5%, but with participating in elections, that's the best way to get more known, right? So with 5%, we would get at least about 30 seats in the parliament. And so our goal would be to enter a government coalition, to be part of the government. And then we could put the money directly into this research. And but also, if we would be in the opposition in the parliament, we could do really good advocacy, because we would have 30 parliamentarians that work full-time for our party, and each parliamentarian can also hire people that work for him. So we would have like over 100 people that would do the advocacy, and we would have a lot of funds, and the media would listen to us because we are in parliament, and we could give talks in parliament and talk to the parliamentarians of the other parties directly in parliament. So of course that would be really great, but it is unrealistic at this point. But we think what is realistic is that by participating in more and more elections, we get more and more known, and then we think a realistic result would be 1 or 2% in future elections. And we think that would be enough, that the big parties will include our issue more into their program, because they would want, they mostly care about votes. And if they see that you can get votes with our issue, they would include it, because they wouldn't lose any votes, because almost nobody is against developing medicine against those diseases. But they would probably get votes from some of our voters. So it's likely that they would include it if we get like 2% of the votes.
So a realistic goal for this year is to get 0.5%. And then, because of this, the party will be able to grow more steadily or more rapidly, because you would get that government funding, right? And so probably in the next elections, you could get 1% and then 5%. That is the plan, the general plan.
Yes, and in 2 years there are the European election, and in the European election there is no 5% threshold. So we managed to get more known till then it would be realistic to get seats in the European Parliament. And also there we could do the same, like we could hire people, and we would have several people to work full-time in this advocacy field, and we would be in parliament and could give talks. So that's why it's so important to participate in as many states as possible, because so if we only participate in few states, then we are not so interested. The media is not so interested about our party, because so if we participate in that, if we would participate in 14 states, then it would be more likely to get the 0.5%. The media would be more interested in our party because they see we are serious, and only most of the small parties, they only participate in a few states. So we would stand out among the small parties because we would participate in so many states. And also probably more people would vote for us because they would see, okay, their vote is not kind of wasted, because we have a realistic chance to reach those 0.5%. If we only participate in 3 states, then maybe some people say, oh, they have no chance to get there, so why should I vote for them? But if you show them, we managed to be on the ballot paper almost everywhere, then people would take us more serious. And also there's a lot of local media in Germany, and the local media only reports about the parties that participate in their state. So if we participate in more states, there would be more media coverage. More different media would report about us, and always, if the media reports about our party, they always report about our issue, because we only have this one issue. You can air commercials on radio, for example, for free, but there are local radio stations, and you only get those free spots if you participate in that particular state. So we could also air more radio commercials if we participate in more states.
So in sum, in order the rejuvenation field can understand the current situation. That you have a realistic goal of get 0.5% in the election. This will multiply the funds for the party because we were studying a bit the rules in Germany, and this will multiply by 4, correct? The funds that you have access is a multiplication for 4, right?
Right. So if somebody, for example, from Germany donates €100, then he can deduct 50% from the tax, so he gets €50 back. But if you have this government funding, it's like a matching fund. So for every euro you get funding, you get another euro from the state or the government. So we would get another €100 from the government. So if somebody like donates €100, it would cost him €50, and we would get another €150 from the state. So we would get €200. So that would motivate, I think, more people to donate something, because the donations would have much more impact.
Yes. So this is important in order we understand what can happen after September 26th. I mean, it could be a huge difference for the Party for Research in Health of Germany if they get 0.5% of the votes. And in order you get 0.5% of the votes, to sum up, it was important to contest elections in 98% of the German electorate, but this is only possible if you can get enough signatures in 14 states. Okay, then, so if someone of the rejuvenation field is watching this interview and they know someone in German who could sign for your party, what these people of the rejuvenation field can do, they can send the link of your website, they can put these people in contact with you, for example, in order they can sign. What people in the rejuvenation field can do effectively to help you to collect those signatures?
So I think they can do 4 things. So first of all, they can contact their friends in Germany and give them the link to our party website. There we have the forms for each state. So their friends who live in Germany, who are eligible to vote in Germany, they can print out the form, fill it out, sign it, and send it to us. The address is also on our website. It's all explained there. And they could also ask their friends. It would be a really big help if they not only send us like 1 or 2 signatures, but maybe 10 signatures. And ask their family members or friends also to sign. And so we also have this fundraising campaign, so people can donate money, so then we can hire people who collect the signatures, like outside in the general public, in parks also, talk to people, ask them for a signature. And everybody can come to Germany and help with collecting the signatures. You can really good collect signatures in English. Almost everybody in Germany understands English. So, for example, prior to the European election, Didier from Belgium, he came to Germany and collected signatures for us, and he was very successful. So you can come to Germany for a couple of days, or so the deadline is July the 19th to hand in the signatures. So until then, you can come to Germany and talk to people in parks and on the streets about it, about our movement. and ask them to give us a signature so that we can participate in the election and help us this way. And also, of course, you can share this and tell other people who might be interested to support this, like you do right now with your podcast, right? So it's really helpful so that more people know about it. Because maybe in 5 years, some people from our community, then they probably will say, oh, if I would have known that we had this big opportunity, I would have supported that, but I didn't know back then. And that's why I kind of try to tell as many people as possible what great opportunity we as a field, as a community have right now in this election. Because right now, with the support we have right now, we can maybe participate in 5 states out of the 14. So we would need much more support to be able to manage to be on the ballot papers in 14 states. And so our strategy also would be to concentrate our signature collection efforts in the bigger states first. So if we would get the support to collect enough signatures in 7 states, then we would be on the ballot paper of 77% of the voters, because 77% of the people from Germany live in those 7 states that we want to focus on first. So that would also be a great goal to achieve. But right now, if we don't get more support, we probably will not achieve that.
Yeah, and so you said the deadline for the signatures is July 19th. So this is the important date for everyone that is listening to focus, July 19th. And you said people could donate to your party so that you can hire more people to collect signatures. So can anyone in the world donate to your party?
So Germans, no matter where they live, they can donate to us with no limit. And people who are residents who live in the European Union can also donate to us without limit. But all people who are not German and do not live in the European Union, they can only donate up to 1,000 euro per year to our party. So if some American who lives in America likes this and wants to donate something, we can only accept donations up to 1,000 euro from one person per year.
And to donate, you just go to your website, and there you can see how to donate.
There's all the information.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a link to the fundraising campaign, and we also explain it there again. And I've made a video in English where I explain about this opportunity and how to donate. Yeah.
So for everyone who is listening or watching, we'll put all the links to the website, to the fundraising campaign. Also, we'll put it written in the screen as well, so if you are watching. So if you're interested, you can go there. There are more informations also in the website for everybody, not only for donating, right?
I want to, so from experience, we know that we can only get those signatures if we hire people who help us to collect them. Because, I mean, if you go, for example, in a park at a nice day, you get maybe 10 signatures per hour. But from experience, because before we told that people should send us the signatures. But in prior election, I tried that. I contacted people and asked them to send us the signatures. And I know from experience that not many people send those signatures. So if we really want to get those signatures, from my experience, we have to hire people who collect them on the street.
So it's more effective if people donate to get signatures.
Yes, I mean, yeah, of course. If people send signatures to us, then it's also great. Yeah. So from experience, we think that we would need about 3,000 euro per state to get the required amount of signatures. In two smaller states, we would need a little bit less because there are a little bit less signatures required. But we think with that amount, we would manage to collect those signatures. But it's dependent on many factors, as I said. So maybe if all goes really good, if the weather is good, if the people that we hire are really if they are good collectors, and if there are many people in the park, then maybe we would need a little bit less money. But with the 3,000 euro per state, we would be on the relatively safe side to get those signatures.
And just for the people from the rejuvenation field that doesn't know you yet, could you tell us a bit about your background and how, I don't know, how do you came into contact with this field? If you had, I don't know, a previous political career, like why are you doing this so focuses on politics? Could you explain a bit about all of that?
Mm-hmm. So I'm an electrical engineer by training. So after school, I studied electrical engineering and I got my master's degree in electrical engineering, and I worked in this field. And in 2012, by chance, I watched the Manhattan Beach Project on YouTube, and I learned about our chance to develop medicine that will let us live longer in good health. And I was so fascinated by that I did the research and looked into it. And the sense research, the sense repair approach from Aubrey de Grey really made sense to me, that we could really achieve that goal in my lifetime. So I made it to my life's purpose in 2012 to help to hasten this development, to help with implementing the repair approach. And the first thing that came to my mind is to become a scientist and to help in the lab. So in 2012, I was 33 then. I went back to university and studied biochemistry, and I got my bachelor degree in biochemistry. But by studying, I learned how slow the progress in the lab is, how little money there is in this field, how few people are really working on this. So I thought I could contribute more to this field by doing advocacy to spread the word and to get more people and to get more money into this field. And so I was on probably all of the respective Facebook groups at that time in the rejuvenation field. And one Facebook group was called the Longevity Party, a Facebook group. And I always thought it's like a party with music and dancing. And then I realized, oh no, they mean a political party. And I thought that would be a great idea. I mean, everybody would vote for a party that works on medicine, or that wants to put more money into the development of medicine that lets us live longer in good health. But this party didn't exist, and I talked to people from this community, and nobody else wanted to do it. But because I thought would be such a great way to do advocacy, so I did it. Yeah, I started the party myself. So I looked for for other people to start the party. And then we started the party with 4 members. And right now we have about 300 members German-wide. We already have 14 regional associations, so it's growing. But at first I thought, okay, if this party exists, we would have in no time thousands of members. But then I had to realize that it's progressing much slower than I thought, but it's still progressing. And we can still do really good advocacy with participating in elections, because otherwise I wouldn't put so much time, and I would do something else. I mean, my goal is not to be successful with party. My goal is that this medicine gets developed faster. So if I would see another way that I could contribute to that would be more effective, I would do something else. But right now, I think that this is the most effective thing I can do to do advocacy with this party. But the more people, so we set up the structure now. We have the party structure now, everything, the infrastructure. But in order to be successful with that faster, or to do even more advocacy with that, we would need more support, also more people joining the party, more people using the structure of this party too.
And then Felix, regarding the specific amount, I don't know if you already mentioned it, but your target for the fundraising, I mean, specifically in order to get 98% of the electorate voting, having the possibility of vote for you. Do you have a specific target of fundraising? And do you think until which day this fundraising goal should be met in order you could really get the signatures to 98% of the electorate having the possibility of voting for you?
It's really difficult to say, because it's all a matter of probability, right? So the goal is 41,000 euro. So that would be like 3,000 euro for most states, and for 2 smaller states a little bit less. But we are dealing with probabilities. So I think with 41,000 euro, it would be almost certain that we manage to get those signatures. But if it will rain the next 4 weeks, which will be really unlikely, but if it would rain the next 4 weeks, then we wouldn't be able to manage to get those signatures, even with 41,000 euro. But so the later we get the funds, so the less time we have, the smaller is the probability that we will make it. So if we would have the funds right now, then the probability would be very high, almost certain in my opinion. But if we would get the funds only 1 week before the deadline, then the probability would be much lower that we will manage to get those signatures. But we would still try, but would be, I don't know how low, it's difficult to say, because it's dependent on so many factors that we cannot influence. But even if we would, and I think then the later we get the funds, the more funds we would need to get those signatures. So if we would get, like on the last weekend before the deadline, only 3 days before the deadline, we could still get the signatures if we would have unlimited amounts of funds, because we could hire just a huge number of people that collect those signatures and go to all the offices, and so it would still be doable. But then we would need like maybe, I don't know, 1 million or so. But if we only have like 2 days left, but we would still try. So we would use the money that we have. Even if it's only 2 days left, we would still use the money that we have in order to participate in more states. Because as I said, even if we don't manage to be on the ballot paper in all 14 states, it's still better to be on the ballots in 8 states than in 7 states. So we would still try to get, signatures in one more state.
Okay, so I just thought I have a suggestion for you. Maybe if the party achieves the goals for this year, for this election, your party could organize a longevity party, like you said, like with dancing and music and beer.
A party.
And Germany, like you said.
With people of all ages.
Yeah.
not just young people, because the goal is that everybody can have young bodies. So maybe it would be a different party, just a suggestion. Good idea, Nina.
Yeah. So, Felix, do you want to add anything else? So just to remind everyone, so this party, the German Party for Health Research, they have just one issue, that is to increase government funding for health research, especially in the rejuvenation area and the repair approach. July 19th is the deadline for the signature. So if you are listening or watching, please send signatures if you're German, or contact people from Germany, or you can donate to help them to get the signatures. And well, do you want to add anything else?
So one thing why a party is also a very good tool to do advocacy or to support this field is because it gives people a very easy way to support this cause. I mean, if you are like an NGO or something and you want to support this NGO, you have to donate money, or you have to donate your time. But because we are a party, people can just support this by giving us their vote or a signature. So that doesn't cost anything, and it costs only very little time. So by being a party, we can also get the support from people who would normally not support this cause. So I think that's one more very important fact about the party. I mean, we have a really short party program, and we even have the repair approach in our party program. And behind me, this one, it's our logo of the party. It also represents the repair approach. So yeah, we are all about doing advocacy for the repair approach.
Okay, Felix, thank you very much for your time. We wish you good luck in the elections.
I think that's it. Thank you, Felix.
Thank you.
So that's it, people. Thank you all very much for listening. As I said, I'm Nina.
And I'm Nicolas.
If you have any questions or suggestions, please send an email to ImmortaliCast@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon page, which is patreon.com/ImmortaliCast. If you want, you can become a patron to help us pay the costs of doing this podcast. And if you can become a patron, you can always spread the word about this podcast to people who might be interested. Again, we make episodes in English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
We are based on Brazil and translated, edited, and published some books of the rejuvenation field, such as Ending Aging by Albert de Grey in the Portuguese version, and The Abolition of Aging by David Wood, also in the Portuguese version, and translated from Spanish into Portuguese the book The Death of Death by José Cordeiro and David Wood. All these books can be found in our website, ntzplural.com, in case you want to know more about them.
On our website, we also have a page about this podcast with the references of each episode, such as the mentioned links.
For this, go to ntzplural.com/ImmortaliCast.
And any other thing that might be relevant to this episode, we will put there too.
So we will continue making these discussions and informative episodes. And let's go towards the future.
Let's end aging or die trying.
So thank you again, and this is the
ImmortaliCast.
ImmortaliCast.
Bye bye.